Welcome home to St. Anne's. We want you to know that you're welcome to join us at 10 a.m. on Sundays. Please be sure to hit subscribe to receive our sermons. We can't wait to meet you.
You laugh, I laugh, and we all move on. Okay, well, let's talk. It is Gaudete Sunday. In most churches, everyone's wearing purple because they're willing to spend a lot more money on vestments than we are. But I'd rather spend it on, ministry, like helping people escaping war-torn countries or helping people in our community or doing something like that. So we're not wasting money on pink. Not that I don't look good in pink, because, oh my gosh. I think I've told you the story of when I wore red for Pentecost, right? Yeah, I've told you that story. All right, I'll tell it again. Don't worry. I tell the same stories over and over and over again. I'm like my dad. Anyway, so let's talk about Gaudete. So Gaudete really is just a reminder that we're almost there. So it is not Marian Sunday. I say this every year because somehow, I don't know how, but somehow it creeped into people's belief that because it's pink, it's Mary's Sunday. It isn't. Mary is getting a Sunday. It's coming. It's next week. This week is just strictly that we are almost there. It's kind of a refreshment. It's a break of saying, whew, we're almost there. Did you know that pink wasn't even a woman's color until like the 20s or something? Like really, turn of the century is when we decided girls wore pink. So it is not in any way historically accurate. But I always feel like I have to say it because for some reason that is out there in the water, that it's Marian Sunday, it's Mothering Sunday. It's actually the Sunday when you're supposed to stir up your Christmas cake, right? Because we're the Church of England. Did you catch that in the collect? Stir up. It's a reminder you're supposed to stir your Christmas pudding. So if you're working on your Christmas pudding at home, stir it up. Pour a little extra brandy on there. It's hungry. You got to feed it. Did you know that? It's Stir Up Sunday. It's Stir Up Sunday when you're supposed to stir up your Christmas pudding. I know. Aren't you just glad that you have a history major as a priest? But let's actually talk. Yeah, Lee's like, I'm just going to say what everyone else is thinking. You think I don't know. I know. But John the Baptist, let's talk about John the Baptist. Because John the Baptist is who they were all looking for, right? John the Baptist is everything that the Messiah is supposed to be. And John the Baptist is Jesus' cousin, right? We remember the good old days when like Mary and Elizabeth were like, woo, we're both pregnant. Whoops, nobody saw that coming. For either one of them. Surprise, everyone's pregnant. So they're cousins. But John has been raised to be a holy man. He's been raised in an ascetic life. He has, since the very beginning, been a religious holy man. And so while we think it's weird that he's out living in the wilderness, eating bugs and honey and whatnot, it actually isn't. He's an ascetic, religious holy man. He's what everyone expects the Messiah to be. He's big, he's impressive, he speaks well, he's got this big booming, scary voice. He tells us, you're all going to burn. And that's what we think the Messiah is going to be, right? Right? So we have John's followers out here being like, yeah, John. And then weirdly enough, John gets arrested and he's in prison. And we're like, well, nobody saw that one coming. And then here comes Jesus. Jesus is not who we expect the Messiah to be at all. Jesus, we don't really know what Jesus has been doing between the ages of 8 and 30, but I'm guessing it's probably been fun. Because if we're not willing to write it down, it's probably been a good time. It's like, you ever want to talk to a clergy person about their days in college? I dare you. I dare you. every clergy person, every religious person who goes into the orders later has stories. We call them sermon fodder. But whatever Jesus has been up to, it has not been worth writing down. Like, this is like the days before Facebook, right? Okay. So this is important because Jesus is not what we expect the Messiah to be. And I love this line. What were you looking for? And I ask you this, God, at Sunday. What are you looking for? What are you looking for? Because I think we always have this image in our brain of what we think things should be, right? What we think God is going to be like. What we think our loved ones are going to be like. What we think our life is going to be like. We have these ideas in our mind, what church should be like. What are you looking for? Are you looking for soft robes? Because Jesus calls them out, doesn't he? Jesus says, what are you looking for? Because if it's this, you've been looking for the wrong thing. And I dare us all, to re-examine what we've been looking for. Because have we been looking for the right things? Are we currently looking for the right things? Are we looking for God and each other to be the way that we think they should be? Do I look to ministry the way I think it should be? The way I imagined it when I was 16? Because I've been doing this a long time, y'all. A long time. Are you looking for church to be the way that you think it should be? Are you looking for God to be the way that you think God should be? Are you looking for your loved ones to be the way that you think that they should be? What are you looking for? In this God at Sunday, I defy us to ask that question. I defy us to look in the face of what we have thought things should be like and say, have I been putting my human lens on God's world? Because I'm going to tell you we have. I promise you. We've all been doing it. We've all been putting our human lens on what we think things should be like. But what if? Just what if? Just stick with me for a second, okay? You can dial it back later. But what if? What if God calls us to something different? What if God calls us to Jesus? What if? And does that look different? So I had a student today, or this week, not today. I haven't been at work today. I've been here with y'all because this ain't work, trust me. This is what I do for fun. All right, anyway, so this week at in my office, because I think it's really, really important, I work in not necessarily the most forward-thinking county. I work in Cass County, okay? Can we just be real for a second? Megan, Cass County. Go ahead, think about that for a second. Because it's everything that you think it should be. What? Yes, some of us have been there, done that. So in my window, on my door, I have like a rainbow sticker that says that I declare in this place, this is a welcome and affirming, loving place for all people, right? So I have this student who, God bless, is as against that as you could possibly imagine. And he's sitting in my office, and he's one of my little buds. Like, we are besties, right? This little dude and I. And he looks at my door. It's been there since before school started, okay? It's been there the whole time. Because y'all know how I am, right? Right? And he says to me, "What is that rainbow thing in your window?" And I said, well, that is to communicate that this is a safe and welcoming and affirming place for all people. But, like, God doesn't like LGBTQ. And I said, really? Because remember, I'm not a priest in Cass County. I cross into the county line, and I become just a school counselor. It's amazing. I'm like Superman, except not that exciting. And so I said, well, really? Where does it say that? Well, it says God's going to bring hellfire and damnation. Does it? Where does it say that? Well, I don't know, but my family doesn't approve, and I don't either. I was like, well, that is different. But don't be bringing God into this. And here's the problem. Here's the problem that we're all guilty of. And while I joke about things, because it makes it safer sometimes if we joke about things to approach them. So sometimes I joke about things, right? I don't know if you guys have noticed that or not about me. But sometimes it's an easier way to approach things that are really, really difficult. You and I are guilty of putting a lens on things, of saying, this is my belief. These are my thoughts, my bigotries, my beliefs, my assumptions. And therefore, I need evidence. So therefore, God has them too. We are looking for what we already think is there. And that is dangerous, because that means that we're not ready to change. We're trying to change God. We're trying to change others. We're trying to change all these things in our system. But really, it was never about that. It was about changing us. And I defy us this week. Challenge yourself. What are you looking for? Who are you looking for? What are you looking for? And maybe, just maybe, it should be God. And Santa Claus or whatever else you're looking for.
We want you to know that you're welcome to join us at 10 a.m. on Sundays. Please be sure to hit subscribe to receive our sermons. We can't wait to meet you.